Hi, today we're going to talk about Erikson's psychosocial development theory. Erikson was an ego psychologist. He was greatly influenced by Freud, and basically he developed a theory that lasts a lifetime, and he broke it down into stages. So there's 8 different stages, and each different stage has a virtue or a characteristic that a person should develop. As you go through the different stages and you create those different virtues in your life, you will move into success into the next stage of your life. If you do not, you will have a conflict, and at those conflicts will now stunt your development. So let's talk about the first stage. The first stage is from birth to the first year of a person's life, and it's trust versus mistrust. And here the child develops, the virtue is developed, that is hope, and it's, will somebody come? Can somebody help me? Children learn if they can trust people around them, and once it's consistently done, then they develop the virtue of hope and trust. Um, if their needs are not met, then the result is mistrust, which can haunt a child for the rest of their life, as we all know. Moving into the second stage, we have autonomy versus shame. And the virtue that is developed there is will. This starts about at the age of 18 months and stops at 3 years, roughly. And basically, this is a time where children are gaining control over their world and independence. They develop self-security and confidence and independence. And if those virtues are not created, unfortunately, they create shame, and that can last a lifetime as well. The third stage we have is initiative versus guilt. And this starts to happen around the ages of 3 to 5 years. And this virtue that is supposed to be created is called purpose. And this is, am I good or bad? The child is asking themselves. What is my purpose here? They start playing and exploring and accomplishing different challenging tasks and activities. And success obviously leads to purpose, while failure the child will have a sense of guilt, and that guilt also again can last a lifetime. The fourth stage that we have is industry versus inferiority, and this happens at the ages of 6 to 11. Children become more capable of completing complex tasks. If they are praised by adults or teachers around them, of course, their confidence is boosted, and they gain that confidence virtue that we're looking for. If they're not praised, they don't feel like they're adequate enough, then unfortunately the crisis in their life is inferiority. And this also, again, can last for a lifetime. So we really want to help to develop students and children's confidence and competence. In the fifth stage, we have identity versus role confusion. And this happens in the adolescent ages from 12 to 18 years. And in this stage, there is a lot of development of the sense of self for the child. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Students really need to understand their own personal identity so that they are able not to have any role confusion, as that would be the lifetime crisis related to the fifth stage of Erikson's development theory. Next, we have the sixth stage, which is intimacy versus isolation stage. And the virtue of this is love. And this occurs between the ages of 19 to 40. People start to develop loving relationships and intimacy, and success is fulfilling lovely relationships with another person, while failure leads to isolation and feelings of loneliness. And unfortunately, this is a very vital age, because as a person ages, um, all of these crises, if they occur in a person's life, they will have detrimental effects on different areas of a person's life. And obviously, this goes back to family and focusing on building a positive life. The seventh stage of Erikson's psychosocial development is stage 7, which is generative versus stagnation. And this happens in the ages of about 40 to 65. By this time, people have matured, hopefully, to an age where they're asking the question, how can I contribute to the world? Or how did I contribute to the world? And they're making a mark. They're standing for what they believe in, caring for other people. And that's the virtue of stage 7, is caring, where stagnation is the crisis that occurs in stage 7, where people feel disconnected or uninvolved in their community. And obviously, if at the earlier ages any of the crises occur, it's still going to have a ripple effect and affect this stage. The final stage that we have is stage 8 in Erikson's psychosocial development theory, and it's integrity versus despair. And this happens about the ages of 65 to a person's death. And people begin to reflect upon their lifetime and what they accomplished and what meaning that their life held and valued. The basic virtue is wisdom. And if that person doesn't feel like they lived a meaningful life, they may feel despair. And it would be a horrible situation from the age of 65 to whenever a person finished their life, to hold that despair in their life. Therefore, we need to really work with students so that at their younger ages, they have success in completing each stage. And then as we mature and we get into our stage 5, identity and role, confusion, intimacy and isolation at stage 6, and generative and stagnation in stage 7, we build up that person so that they have what they need. They have the care and the love and the impact in the world, so that at the end of their life, they have wisdom and understanding and they do not feel despair.